A great chapter this was, even though there were no fights, no bloodshots, no action. But let me correct that. There is continuation of action from the whole martial law, good old martial law that is declared. But mostly, the most important, at least for me, what I really felt from this chapter was mostly the growth of the characters, or at least not the growth per se, but their growth in my eyes, or at least I'm understanding them better from this chapter. Mostly Bruston, mostly Burton. I'm struggling with that name. That name is crazy, bro. That's a mouthful on its own. Yes, mostly Borkson. Last chapter it was Morena, even though it was a grim way to learn more about her. It was still a great chapter. This time it is Borkson. Well, what about Borkson? Well, I want to start by doing a bit of an analysis on her, just so we can get a greater picture of her. I think that from the last chapter to now, I'm getting like a sort of lack of confidence into greater status, or at least into greater things from Borkson, that she is not confident about, or at least is not trusting things such as, well, her nationalist government, like she said, although she tries to find her way to live her bit of peace, even though her country is not the best at taking care of them. But at the same time, I think in this chapter we get also that feeling from the way she is not trusting of Morena. Now, understandably, she's a hostage, so I understand that she is not really feeling safe around her. But I also think that she doesn't trust others in the way that they bring in options for her. We, the viewer, understand that Morena wouldn't lie. It's not tricks. She is even trying to give agency. And I think that's pretty important for somebody like Borkson to provide her agency. Because when she saw the game, the first things she was thinking about is the traps hidden behind the games. The trap number 1, the trap number 2, and the trap number 3. But playing the game, like I've explained, the game to me seemed more like a way for Morena to just let Borkson know more about her organization, and everything. It was really an icebreaker, more so than some sort of trickery that Borkson was thinking about. And I think in some ways, to some degree, Borkson has taken a liking to Morena, and we're gonna see in which aspects throughout this whole chapter. But well, that's my sort of vision of Borkson. She seemed like a really good girl, like sweet, but she never shows those aspects. You can just see how she's an hostage but shows no emotion whatsoever. And that was pretty interesting to me. So she doesn't like to show, but she is pretty good at picking up, well, small changes and all that. She's like that, she is able to pick up the small differences into the other characters' attitudes, and she's hiding her own through that fear, and she also is not, well, trusting of most things. That's what I'm getting from her. Now, delving into the chapter, what we do get is martial law is announced. We got that from last chapter. But going deeper into that, martial law is mostly not applied to tier 5 and 4, which is understandable because they had no soldiers in those tiers. You know what I mean? The ratio of passengers to the ratio of soldiers is way off in those tiers. Now, starting tier 3, well, sorry, they start to mistreat them the higher they go in, the lower they are in tier. Starting from tier 3, it's you're gonna get shot, you better watch out. Tier 2, we got a bit of leniency. Tier 1, listen, you just chill and we gonna do our thing, and after that you're free. But Bergson was trying to understand really much more. She saw that Morena was shaken by the whole announcement, and she tried to guess on what tier she was at. And they go from there. And Borkson obviously chooses the deal card because that was the best option for her if she was trying to escape. But after choosing the deal card, well, she gets the X back. But here was the condition, or at least the small request she was supposed to fulfill for Morena, and that is a kiss. Now we know what a kiss from Morena represents, but she didn't know. Then she learns that it is part of her ability, and we also learned that the whole deck, the whole game, is also part of her ability. One of three conditions actually: the kiss, the game, and witnessing a killing from a member of the Haley. Now, beyond those things, I do think I want to make a bit of a theory here that Morena gave the kiss to Borksen, so in case that even if the answer is no, she can bring them more points because now she awoken to Nan. But if the answer is yes, good. That's one step of the whole Nan ability that she's giving her already completed. Going from there, Borksen obliges. She gets kissed the fuck out of, and you can just see it in the messy hair and everything, but her face is still stoic and emotionless. And I think that's what Morena saw. It's the way she was trying to hide that was her first kiss, that she was flustered and just out of bound, you know. Like I said, she really tries to hide it, and Morena picks up on it. That's what I think. Picks up on that and just starts joking about it. He lets her know, oh, that was your first kiss, and she's like, how'd you know? Then she tries to correct herself. Why would you assume that? But you know, the cat is out of the bag, and Borksen gets frustrated, and we get this bit of emotion from her, like from one of the first times, and she's just flustered by the whole thing. That was no kiss. Let's just play. And through the play, the X card comes out again. There goes her chance. Now she only can rely on the R card, or she gets the no, and she dies. Next thing they do, or at least next thing they tried to do, was continue the game, but Borksen lets Morena know that she is not trusting of the whole kiss because she feels like the kiss might have been a distraction, so that Morena changed up the cards. But what happens from there is that Morena feels a bit insulted by it because she let Borksen know that she was going to be honest, and she even compares it to the whole looking at your partner's phone to see if they're cheating, even though they told you they are not, and you decide to not trust them, even though they are not cheating. They still feel insulted by the fact that you still want to go to their phone. And that's the same principle she uses, because Morena is cute like that, so she throws that around. Borksen feels, it just says, hey, listen, I need my, like I said, I don't think she trusts people, even though yes, she is kidnapped, so I understand that much, but she doesn't trust people much, seemingly. They check the cards. Borksen is satisfied. Now maybe she did hold that to cheat in some way or another, I'm not sure. Maybe to crumple the R card so that on the next turn she could pick the right card, something along those lines. Listen, I don't know, maybe, because even at the end of the game, let me not spoil. Going forward, now question A is in play. Borksen picks question A. Now from question A, Borksen asks a bunch of questions to Morena that she answers by yes or no, and she learns, to her surprise, that the Haley hideout was actually in between tiers. I had this theory about it being in between tiers, but I never voiced it. So listen, now it's just up in the air. There is no confirmation for it. But I really feel like I had that. I never wrote it down, so here it is. I messed up. But it's actually in between tiers, well hidden. Borksen also asked a bunch of questions, and I'm sure she knows a bunch about the whole Haley from her yes and no questions. And now it's her turn to finalize the game. They need to turn the cards and figure out what's gonna happen. What ends up happening is they turn the cards at the same time in an exciting turn, and there it goes. Borksen actually wins. She got the R card, but she jumps in excitement and crumpled the cards, her hands shaking. She crumpled the R card. Now here is why to me it feels important that she asked to get the whole deck of card checked again, because that might have been her trick, change up the cards or to put a crumple in it so she could recognize it. But anyway, here she is. She now has the option to escape. She crumpled the R card and said, I'm sorry. Marna says it's okay, we use a different deck every time. But Borksen might have played the trick there, or it might just be a cute representation of Borksen actually showing her emotions. Well, we'll know later, I think. But that's not the end of our surprises, because Borksen actually doesn't pick the X card. She goes for the yes card. Yes, 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 the yes card. She does go for the yes card, and we end up, well, I don't know what her brain movement was to the whole acceptation of of joining the gang, but here she is. She might have joined the gang. And that would be the end of the chapter. But I think the best part of the chapter for me was definitely when she was trying to know if Morena would change her mind in some way about her old plan, the whole killing, the whole murdering of the whole world, let's say it like that. And Morena kept answering no. And through those refutations, strangely, there was just so much understanding going on in the eyes, and that was to me the best part of the chapter, because I think Borsen showed some sort of sadness looking at her, and Morena showed resolve, but sad that she's sad for her, but letting her know that there is no way, and because the question itself got answered in the first time, it's a yes and no question, so there shouldn't be a need for that question to be repeated in some or any other way, but she did, and that's that repetition. That's the sort of looking for hope that she was doing for Morena, because she feels for her, even though she's selfish. Let's say not selfish, but that's the word I have to use. She has her goals of living in peace, but she really feels for her story. And when she goes through that, then she asks, is there no way, maybe somewhere down the end, where you find yourself having some sort of compromise about your plan? And she says, absolutely not. So we know Morena's goals. She's not backing up. And I respect it. Sorry, I just respect it. They shouldn't have made her so likable from last time. But anyway, that's about it for this chapter. I hope I actually got down everything I wanted to get down in this version, because I tried. Well, thank you for the watch. Hope to see you again. Have a good time. Bye bye.